Hello guys, welcome to IB360. Today in this video we will look through gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria. We have already discussed various components inside a prokaryotic cell in our previous video. Go check it out. You will find the link in the I button above. So let's begin our lesson today. Before understanding gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, we must know something about bacterial cell envelope, which is the outer covering of the protoplasm of bacterial cell, and it consists of three layers: the glycocalyx, cell wall, and plasma membrane. So glycocalyx is the outermost of them all, as you can see, and its job is mainly pertain to secondary functions. It is not absolutely essential for survival of bacteria. It does jobs like prevention of desiccation, protection from toxic chemicals and drugs, then protection from viruses, from phagocytes, then attachment, then provides immunogenicity, also virulence, and also imparts a sticky character to the bacterial cell. Glycocalyx is further consisting of two parts: the outer mucilage and the inner S layer. The outer mucilage is mainly made of carbohydrates, while inner S layer is made up of polypeptides, which are rich in acidic amino acids. So this is all about the glycocalyx. When it is thick, it is called capsule. So in this diagram, it is a thick one. So they have mentioned it as cell capsule. Just within the glycocalyx lies the cell wall. For understanding gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, this is the most important part. And in today's video, we will mainly focus on cell wall. Now, cell wall lies between glycocalyx and plasma membrane. Here in this diagram, the word murin is used, murin cell wall, because the main component of cell wall is peptidoglycan, mainly in gram-positive bacteria, and peptidoglycan is also called murin. So they are using the word murin cell wall. Cell wall in gram-positive bacteria is single layered, while in gram-negative bacteria is double layered, and it has a very important job, rather a primary function, not like glycocalyx, which is mainly concerned with secondary functions. So its main job is to provide shape to the bacterial cell, and also it prevents bursting of the bacterial cell in hypotonic solution. So prevents bursting of bacterial cell in hypotonic solution. Now, cell wall also provides certain rigidity, stability to the entire cell. And apart from this, there is another important job that the cell wall does. That is, it provides a periplasmic space which occurs between plasma membrane and cell wall. And this periplasmic space is absent in gram-positive bacteria. So if we discuss the composition of cell wall in gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, in gram-positive, 70 to 80% of cell wall is made up of peptidoglycan, which is also known as murin or mucopeptide. So peptidoglycan, also known as murin or mucopeptide. Fine. And in gram-positive bacteria, the cell wall is 20 to 80 nanometer thick, while in gram-negative bacteria, it is 8 to 12 nanometer thick. We will discuss these in details later on. And one more important thing is peptidoglycan consists of long glycan strands formed of repeating units of NAG and NAM, which is N-acetyl glucosamine and N-acetyl muramic acid. So peptidoglycan repeating units of NAG and NAM. So in the comment below, you answer this question that whether peptidoglycan is a heteropolymer or a homopolymer based on this information. Fine. Then we come to plasma membrane. Now plasma membrane is selectively permeable, and it is like any other cell and component of any other cell type only. Bacterial plasma membrane has similar structure to any typical membrane. It is a phospholipid bilayer with proteins of various types, including intrinsic, extrinsic proteins, integral proteins, or transmembrane proteins. And it also holds receptor molecules for detection and responding to different chemicals of the surroundings. Bacterial membrane is metabolically active because it also takes part in respiration, synthesis of lipids, and cell wall components. So plasma membrane is not that much distinguishable. It is like any other plasma membrane of any other typical cell. The main concern is cell wall, which demarcates gram positive from gram negative ones. Okay, so let us move on to the next topic. As I was talking, gram positive has only one layer of cell wall, which is 70 to 80% peptidoglycan, and very less lipid content, very less. So one layered cell wall. This is the cell. This is the plasma membrane, cell membrane, and this is the thick peptidoglycan. They have not shown the glycocalyx layer in both of these structures. Only the plasma membrane and the immediate next to it, the cell wall, and no periplasmic space. That is also important. No periplasmic space. In gram-negative bacteria, they have the plasma membrane, a very well-defined periplasmic space. You see, this is entirely the periplasmic space over here. Then there is a little bit layer of peptidoglycan, and this is almost 10 to 20%, very less compared to gram-positive ones. And then they have the outer membrane. This outer membrane is mainly made of lipids, and lipid content is 20 to 30%, which is very significant compared to gram positive bacteria. So this composition is very important when it comes to differentiating gram positive and gram negative, and when it comes to understanding the gram staining process. The first important thing is gram negative bacteria, they have huge lipid content, 20 to 30% lipid content, and their cell wall is made up of two layers. The inner layer, this one is the inner layer, and this one is the outer layer, and their cell wall is also wavy, two layer plus wavy, not straight like that of gram positive. And the outer membrane has 20-30% of lipid content. Along with lipids, they also have hydrophilic channels for barrel proteins called porins, that we will see later on, but we can mention here the beta barrel proteins, which are hydrophilic channels, and these are porins. We have heard about this term porin many times, but what are these? These are hydrophilic channels, because lipid is extremely hydrophobic. This entire composition is hydrophobic. So in order to let entry of certain hydrophilic material, these beta barrel proteins are installed at various locations throughout the outer membrane of the cell wall of gram negative bacteria. In Mycobacterium and also Nocardia, the wall contains long fatty acid chains which are called mycolic acids. Mycolic acids. And all these increase the hydrophobicity of the outer layer. So we can understand that this is one thick, very thick peptidoglycan layer, and this is comparatively less peptidoglycan inner layer, and 20 to 30% fatty acid layer, lipid content basically. This is the main difference. Here the structure is very clear. This is gram negative and this is gram positive. As you can see, this is the cytoplasmic membrane, this region, and above this there is hardly any periplasmic space. Periplasmic space is what is outside the plasma membrane. So periplasmic space, the space which occurs between plasma membrane and the cell wall, and there is hardly any periplasmic space here. Just immediate to the plasma membrane we see a huge chunk of peptidoglycan layer, and in between there are teichoic acid and lipoteichoic acid installed. When it comes to gram negative bacteria, we have a significant amount of periplasmic space. This region is showing that, and the cell wall is divided into inner membrane and outer membrane. Inner membrane has porine and membrane proteins are there. Outer membrane has 20 to 30% of lipid content, O polysaccharide and core polysaccharide, and these are the lipid dispositions throughout the outer membrane. Based on this structural difference between gram positive and gram negative bacteria, we will understand the staining process. So this is the gram staining process. What happens? Firstly, they are treated with a weakly alkaline solution. This step is in this step they are treated with weakly alkaline solution of violet or gentian violet color. So they pick up the color, they turn blue. Both gram positive and gram negative bacteria, they will pick up this particular solution color and they will turn blue. Then they're treated with 5% iodine. Iodine does a job of basically helping the sticking process of the dye to this bacterial cell wall. After that, they are washed with water plus acetone, or alcohol also can be used, but the main job is done by acetone. What acetone does is acetone wash away the lipid, but lipid content in gram positive is very negligible compared to gram negative. So what happens, gram positive is able to retain its stain while gram negative gets decolorized, because it has 20 to 30% lipid, and that too just on the outer membrane of the cell wall, and it were the lipids which mostly took up the stain. So now as acetone is washing away the gram negative cell wall, the lipid content is completely lost and they will get absolutely decolorized. On the other hand, gram positive, they are able to hold on to their stain, and then if they are counter stained with safranin, they will still uh, hold their violet stain, while they will, since they have already lost their previous stain, they will be newly stained and they will be pink in color. So this is all about gram staining. It was introduced, the inventor of gram staining is Hans Christian Stain. Okay, so then comes differences between gram negative and gram positive bacteria. We have mostly talked about the gram reaction, the peptidoglycan layer, and periplasmic space, see absent and present. You can take a screenshot of this particular page. Another very important thing we have to note is the flagellar structure. Two ring in basal bodies found in gram positive and four ring in basal bodies found in gram negative. This is quite obvious if we study the flagellar structure properly. If we study the three components of flagellar structure properly, we will able to have an insight on this particular point, and we will discuss this in more detail when we talk about flagella in the later classes. LPS content is virtually none in gram positive but high in gram negative. Then cell wall disruption by lysozyme. This is high in gram positive while low in gram negative. Resistance to drying is high here, low here. Inhibition by basic dye is high here, low here. Susceptibility to anionic detergents also high here and low here. So this is all about gram positive and gram negative bacteria for today. Hope you enjoyed this class. So like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel IB360, and stay safe. Thank you guys.